we just dive on in? Up.
Hey.
Welcome.
Yay! I'm Boss.
Oxnard.
And we're here with the scoops.
Tostitos Scoops. This episode is brought to you by Tostitos.
Who owns Tostitos?
Is that a Doritos company? Or is Tostitos is its own company?
Is it?
If anything, Tostitos owns Doritos. Because they have to say Tostitos Doritos. I don't know. Well, they have the Tostito Bowl. Isn't that a college football thing?
You mean the scoops?
No, I mean college football. I mean, like the sport, college football. The Tostito Bowl is
I don't know.
Is like one of the the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They have like the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl. You got your Salmon Bowl,
Toilet Bowl, Dog Bowl.
You got your Salad Bowl, Taco Bowl.
Is any of this making it in?
Probably all of it. Well, I'm Dexter. Surprise twist.
I'm Boss.
He's still Boss.
No, I'm Oxnard.
Boss is not here.
Well, no, Boss is gonna. He took
is he gonna record himself and we'll just insert him in?
Sure. No.
Yeah, he's gonna be inserted into post.
Much like the Seinfeld episode where Kramer takes a vow of silence. It's exactly that.
It's just as well.
Yeah, it's audio form.
I keep thinking I'm sitting on my wallet. I'm sitting where Boss usually sits, and I gotta say, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a spring under
gigantic
couch.
spring.
I have a 5-year warranty on this couch. I gotta call the guy to bring him over here so he can repair whatever.
How has he never complained about it?
Maybe he likes it.
He likes it.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Just like I didn't know what was going on in the beginning of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I would
that
like
segue?
to do a tally one day. Oh, the episode's called Something Beautiful, I think. Yes, it is. A tally of all these scenes in Better Call Saul. I guess most of them are the opening shots, and
where it's just stuff happening. Like
it's just like someone's doing something. You have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, you come in the middle of somebody doing something.
Yeah, and it's like, what are they doing? And then it slowly breaks down, and you piece it together. It's a really interesting way of writing.
It almost always gives you an oh shit moment.
Yeah,
you know, and so it like keeps everything so interesting because you're on your toes the whole time. Like, what does this guy do? Why is he sprinkling something?
Toes.
Why is he laying down chains and then driving the car over them himself?
Is he stupid?
Is he an adrenaline junkie?
Who's this dead guy in the trunk? I don't remember anyone dying last episode. I'm a stupid viewer.
Why? This show is surprisingly violent.
That's a nice car. Why pump it full of lead, boys? Man, the meth must go right to the head. Yes,
this was
nailed it.
Yeah, this was crazy. It seemed like at almost excess. Or why didn't they just get one machine gun?
Well, I think they wanted. Maybe there's something about these guns. Maybe the DIA knows that they use this type of Colts. I'm assuming.
Oh, also you could be right there. Also, basically they have to shoot Nacho, so they want some and the guy in the head. So I guess they want some accuracy. Maybe they're can be more accurate with this as opposed to like spraying a machine gun.
A machine gun round, I think, is really going to do some
maybe too much damage.
It's going to rip his shoulder bone right out of it.
I kept waiting for the car to explode at some point, and then also
it's not GT.
The one guy, the African American guy, was shooting when the Mexican guy was very close to where he was shooting.
I was going to say something.
It's a bit careless.
I think they know what they're doing. That guy, he looks trustworthy with crime doings. You remember him from Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah, he had paunch, though, didn't he?
Remember, he was always having that smirk, like...
He looks annoyed / disgusted with everything.
And bemused.
That he's,
Bemused, not Bermused.
Bermudas. With his crime doings. And, so basically, then you realize what these guys are doing, because Nacho's there, and you're like, oh, okay, they're setting it up so that this guy and Nacho were attacked, so that nobody gets wise that Fring was involved in any way.
Yeah.
And then they shoot Nacho in the shoulder, and then they're like, all right, you got to climb out of the car, kind of crawl your way into the desert, and then make the call to the, turns out to the twins, the Salamanca twins, the nephews.
Yeah.
But what was very surprising was when one guy, not the bemused guy, the other guy shoots him right in the fucking, stomach, the gut area.
Yeah, it had to be realistic.
Oh, my God, that was horrifying. Because as it was, I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe Nacho wasn't, screaming in pain. I'd be going, yeah. like,
And that's why they
he's
use the
really-
pistols, because you can't shoot a guy in the stomach
with the machine gun.
or like any big round, because it's probably just going to vaporize whatever tissues in that area, and there's no way to save him.
As it is, I mean, we know Nacho gets saved, but the vet guy that does the operating on him, he basically is like, he's basically sniffed it, and he's like, I didn't smell shit.
Right.
So your bowels are probably okay, but I don't know for sure. Like, they could have shot him, and then he would have been like pooping into a bag if he survived for the rest of his life.
Your colon is like, right?
Yeah, for the record, Oxnard, for the listener's imagination, he's just squiggling around on his midsection and going,
And then you're
saying colon.
I don't know, it's somewhere around. He hit it on the left side. What is there? Is that
It did get him on the side, yeah.
Where's your pancreas? Is that back here?
Isn't it all on top of each other?
I know the liver's over the stomach, like a big baseball mitt.
Really?
Yeah, because everything that goes in your stomach gets absorbed into the liver. That's why you get drunk. And then, yeah, it's funny. You don't get drunk from alcohol. It's what the liver turns alcohol into. I forget what chemical.
More alcohol. No.
It's similar to like when you do morphine, and then the liver turns it into heroin. No, you do heroin, and then the liver turns it into morphine.
What does it turn morphine into? Because isn't morphine's a form of heroin?
Yeah, but
Or it's all an opiate.
I think it starts.
It's
you
all a
add something
derivative
to
of
morphine,
the opioid.
morphine to make it heroin. Druggies out there, junkies, leave a comment. Let
If
us
you're
know
not
how it works.
too wasted.
It's funny. Like I remember once History Channel was doing like it was like drug
The history of morphine.
Yeah, it was a history of like opiates and opium and drugs and heroin. All these documentaries.
Well, you could do that because you have the opium wars.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's legitimate.
And then I like when I'm talking to my girlfriend, I'm explaining like how drugs work, like DMT and stuff, and he's like, "Are you doing these drugs?" And I was like, "No, having knowledge of something does not mean I'm doing it, dear."
If I was doing them, I wouldn't be coherent enough to explain to you how they work.
I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be who knows where in a bender
Staring off into space, drooling.
with homeless men.
In your mind, though, you'd be explaining it perfectly.
Exactly.
You'd be like, well, you see, the chemical breakdown in the liver actually produces a chemical substance that's more potent than the actual drug that you're taking. Instead, you sound like... Oh, my God!
Boss last week was educating us on Hemmels,
Hummels.
whatever. Hemules, and yeah, he was saying it's the Wandering Boy.
Yeah, we were talking about this. I think it made it into our
Bavarian
episode.
Boy, but they look the same except for slight differences.
Turns out he was right, because...
Yeah, but Boss was saying there's like a serial number on the bottom, but I guess the Merry Wanderer doesn't have that, but the Bavarian Boy does.
And basically what Jimmy was saying was... He basically clarified what we were talking about last week, and we're wondering.
That's what I found
He
hilarious.
answered our question exactly for us. It was
like he
hilarious.
listened to it. Bob Odenkirk was listening to us, and he was like, here's a rundown.
Vince Gilligan's like, oh, quick rewrite, guys. We got to stick this in there.
I'm Bob Odenkirk.
God damn it!
Let him finish. Don't you help him.
And,
Approach the summit.
It was If anyone hasn't seen the Everest sketch from Mr. Show, that's
Google
a
it right
classic.
now. Pause this
That's
video,
a classic.
Search
Oh, yeah.
Everest, Mr. Show, watch the whole thing.
Then listen to the commentary where they talk about how...
It stopped being funny, and then it got even more funny.
Because
It's
they had
genius.
to reset everything every time. It took an eternity. Anyway, I won't spoil it. Watch it. Enjoy it. I'm sure we've talked about it before.
Yes, at
But,
least 4 times.
But basically, I thought it was hilarious, like you, that Bob Odenkirk, the Jimmy character's answering our question perfectly, where there is one called the Merry Wanderer, which is almost identical to the valuable one, which is the Belgian Prance?
Bavarian Boy.
Bavarian Boy.
Or Bavarian Wanderer. I don't know.
Or
Bavarian
something like that, yeah. And that was amazing, and he's having a great scene. There was a cool scene where he's trying to convince Mike. We knew Mike wasn't going to be into this. It didn't seem like his bag, baby.
I was hoping he would, but it makes sense. Mike, he's getting his money laundered, finally. His own money.
Also, he is making easy money already. And also, we wouldn't get the amazing scenes where the cat burglar that he does hire gets
The
stuck.
small-handed printer salesman.
Oh, my God. That whole thing was incredible.
And very depressing.
And nerve-wracking as hell.
So I read online. I didn't notice it, but the burglar that the vet had called, and then Saul goes in there and he does a spiel. as Saul is prone to do. I don't know why I can't speak.
Saul's prone.
Maybe I am on heroin. And so that's supposed to be a guy named Ira, who was the owner of Vamonos Pests from Breaking Bad, which is the company Walt and Jesse bought from him so that they can conduct their meth operation.
I didn't even remember that. Do we see the guy there?
Someone posted a screenshot of him from Breaking Bad.
For a second, because it's very dark when you at first see his face, and I thought for a second it was Brian Posehn. Because the way his face looked and the big beard, the comedian.
I thought for a second it was Jimmy dressed up.
Oh, I thought that too! Yes!
And I was like, this is going to end
horribly. My God! I seriously thought...
Like he put like a pillow under his shirt.
I seriously thought that he was in I thank you for bringing that up, because I forgot that I absolutely thought the same thing.
And I was
That's
like,
amazing.
No, that doesn't make any sense. He said there's no cameras in there.
Oh my God! I'm glad you thought the same thing, because I dismissed it almost right away, because I had that same. You couldn't tell the way the lighting was, and then I thought it was Brian Posehn because he's connected because he worked on Mr. Show, so there's some connection there, and he just kind of looked like him to me.
They just got old Mr. Show. Tom Kenny shows up.
Paul F. Tompkins is there.
What's the other guy?
David Cross.
David Cross,
obviously. Oh, a bunch of them. Sarah Silverman.
Right. Who were the regulars though? Who was the guy, like the tall guy? Who clown
I can't remember his name. He was in the Sarah Silverman show. He played the police officer.
Right.
And he's also...
a woman who I think is Tom Kenny's wife now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, too. She does improv stuff, too. She shows up on Spontanea Nation a lot with Paul F. Tompkins. She's hilarious. There's so many great people that still, like, do all the same kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, out in Los Angeles and, like, improv and groundlings and all that kind of shit. And then... like Jack Black was in a bunch of early stuff.
Don't stick your dick in these holes.
Oh man, that was a classic.
No, I was getting a little excited when the guy was calling the burglars, because there was part of me was like, oh my God, are we going to see Bill Burr? Is this where Jimmy meets like Bill Burr's character?
Oh yeah.
And I think his name was Kubi, or it was going to be, because we've already seen Bobanu. Huel Bobanu, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, this is my associate Huel. But yeah, he's the one because he came in Chuck's hearing there,
Bill
right?
Burr's got to be in here somewhere.
He'll be here. Hey, how about another surprise? We got introduced to a different character though that we know from Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Gale.
Who?
And how did he? That actor was very impressed. My wife was blown away.
Oh, how he memorized that song?
Yeah, because all she could think about was how he had to learn that song. I couldn't tell you one thing. Barium? Maybe he said barium once. I don't know. I mean, it was like that was seriously impressive. And
what happens to Gale. They bury him.
Bam! What I find frustrating though is we still don't know how him and Fring ended up meeting.
Well, yeah,
and how he ended up finding out who Fring really is.
I don't know, because Fring gave him a scholarship, right? He's putting him through school, basically.
Is that what it is? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
I forgot completely, to be honest.
Gale, even in Breaking Bad, he said he has like these libertarian views on like business, and like people should be able to do whatever they want and make money however they can.
Oh, and he just wants to make, and he's there sampling their Fring's samples.
Good
job, Dexter.
The worst samples.
They're Drek
in like Breaking Bad history. Like 50% or something.
That's why their mind is blown when Walter White's stuff comes out.
96%.
Is that what it was? I was like, was it 98?
By the end of the series, they were getting almost to like 98.9% pure methamphetamine.
Insane.
Something crazy.
You know what's sad? What this reminded me of, too, with this conversation? Recently, did you hear what happened to the actor that played Goldberg in the beloved Mighty Ducks movie? And he was also in the Heavyweights movie, which I find fantastic.
No.
Have you ever seen the Heavyweights movie?
Yes.
That's a great movie.
My brother loves that movie.
I love it.
A time where he was like obsessed with that movie.
Same thing with my brothers and I.
It seems okay.
Ben Stiller was hilarious in that movie.
Oh yeah, well, and he was like
he plays the guy who like takes over the camp,
the fat camp thing.
And he was, I guess, fat at one point, but now he's like the overly strict and extremely intense exercise coach that takes over, and he's doing these like meditation techniques, and he's like something. It's like really funny lines. Repulse the monkey, all kinds of wacky shit.
Mighty Ducks I haven't seen in a long time.
Mighty Ducks, but anyway, so Goldberg was in all these movies. Well, sadly, he is addicted to meth, and when you see the picture of,
is he getting help?
Well, he was arrested. I don't know
Well, hopefully
if
that
he's
leads
getting
him
help
getting
now. He's only like 39. He looks like he's 69.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
meth, not even once.
Don't do meth.
We've seen the posters.
Don't do meth. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Don't do meth. Though.
Well, the first time with meth, it's got to be fun, you know.
I guess. I don't know. Then
That's the thing they say about
then
all
your every
addictions.
Florida man headline that comes out that you read on
I
Reddit.
saw a hilarious one.
There's also was it the one where the Florida man arrested after caught hanging from stoplight and shitting on all the cars that passed by? He was clearly on meth. That guy.
I don't know if this one was made up, but it just made me laugh. It said Florida man killed because he put in a microwave inside another microwave. I was like, wait, what?
Or it's like there's a picture of the fattest human being you've ever laid eyes on, only from like the neck up, and you can only imagine that that's all that would fit in this camera lens. And it's like Florida man breaks into like Burger King and drinks fry grease.
All right,
Something like that.
Ito was right.
Yeah, that's it.
He
Oh
was right.
God, I can't even think about that. Oh.
Oh, that's right. I don't know.
But yeah, don't do meth. You'll just be another Florida man headline. Even if you're a woman,
Yes.
they won't be able to tell what you are.
Don't do drugs, kids.
No, you can do some drugs.
Cheers, Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Oh,
Be
so
responsible. This is STS.
You're driving
Reminding
home
all
after
of
this,
you.
right?
Absolutely.
2 shots before you hit the road.
We're recording this in my car as I'm driving. Well, I'm smoking this big bowl of dank weed. That's what the kids call it nowadays, don't they? Anyway, have fun responsibly.
Yeah.
Or don't.
Whatever.
Fuck off.
I was gonna. Forget it.
What?
Forget what I was gonna say.
We got stuck in a loop of reminding people to be responsible.
Well, these are more just wise words than anything else.
That's true.
With addiction, what happens with these people who do these hardcore drugs is like they keep doing the drug thinking is going to put them back to the first time they ever did it.
Oh, yeah.
But you
It's
will
never the same.
get there.
Yeah.
And they always say, like, okay, you go sober for a long time. And then people say, oh, I want to start up again because it's going to be like the first time. It's like, no, you're not going back to the first time. You're just taking up exactly where you left off.
Also, people do too much. That's why it's the most dangerous time for an addict, like with heroin and stuff, is somebody who relapses.
To Amy Winehouse, that she was actually
She was
sober for
getting
a
clean,
while.
yeah, but then she had relapsed.
She relapsed, but then she started drinking like she used to.
That's
where
what
she had a
happens.
higher tolerance, and her body.
Or you
just couldn't take it.
you like take the same amount of heroin that you may have when you right before you decided, you got sober for a while, and what happens is your body's not used to it, and so it's too much, and you OD.
You never read The Stands, right? Stephen King.
No,
That's like
I have read almost no Stephen King. telling
there's
you.
a part in The Stand where that's basically like Ebola.
That's one of his most popular books, right? Is that one
It's
of the
one
most
of his
popular?
longest
Like
ones.
among fans.
Yeah, it's that. It's
I just got the first book of the Dark Tower series for my wife because she loved the It movie, the new one.
all right, but the Dark Tower books are very. It's like a Western.
No, I know, but it's
understand, like,
related to It.
yeah, but all his books are like that. Like a lot of his books take place in Maine, and like the.
Oh yeah.
It's like kind of like a shared universe. Kind
Oh
of
well,
thing.
she was looking up like kind of like the origin, like where did this come from, and then it was talking about like the Dark Tower series or whatever. So that's why I thought, well,
Well,
let
if
me
she's
get that.
disappointed, it's because it's like his version of Lord of the Rings, but it's like a Western. There's magic. It's like witches. There's a lot of weird shit.
Well,
going
she
on.
hasn't started reading it yet. She probably won't.
And avoid
Sometimes she's hit or miss with reading stuff.
avoid the Dark Tower movie. That's all I'll say.
She, of course, read... She'll end up reading, like, what's really... Oh, I don't want to see that fucking movie. It looks like shit. I want to read the book, but it looks like... I started reading Asimov again. That's it. This is what always happens.
Again, addiction. Asimov always pulls you right back.
I'm
and it's never the
ODing,
same.
guys!
It's like you're picking up right where you left off.
That's what happens, though. I'll be like, oh, yeah, I want to read... I bought a brand new book about Vikings. I showed it to you. Haven't cracked it open yet. I've been reading Asimov.
And you know what's funny? After that, remember I told you that podcast? Look up this podcast, people. Plug for something we get nothing out of.
Yeah.
It's called Myths and Legends.
Uh-huh.
And it's this guy who is a history major, and like he just takes like old stories like the original Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, these old myths and legends, and he does a few on Vikings and King Arthur, and he tells you what the actual story was, and it's just interesting to hear
Yeah.
like what it actually was and how it was a product of its time compared
Yeah.
to like how Disney did it or how this movie did it. Like Aladdin, is ridiculous.
Well, I'm sure. Oh, Little Mermaid is one like that, where it's.
I read that.
It's horrifyingly
it's scary,
different than.
And when she becomes a human, if every step she takes, it feels like she's walking on glass or something. She can't speak. It's all this, and then at the end she dies and she turns into the foam of the ocean.
The spermy foam.
Like Aladdin, the original book, it takes place in China, but it's an Arab city in China. Huh? It just takes place in China. There's a. I forget. His name's like
That's weird.
Aladdin has a mom, and his father dies because his son refused to work, and he died of stress. And then this guy comes.
They have stress because they refuse to believe that they're Chinese. Like, no, damn it, we're Arabic.
Comes from Africa, and then pretends to be his father's brother, and he's like, "Oh, I can help you." And then he takes Aladdin out into the desert, and he gives him a ring, and so Aladdin goes down to this cavern, gets the lamp, but there's two genies. There's one genie in the ring.
Genie fight.
But there's a stronger genie in the lamp, and so now, I don't know, it's all this
so
weird
now one
stuff.
becomes insecure, and then the other...
No, and it's cool because genies are these, they almost remind me of like Balrogs, the way they were explained, these big, fiery, interdimensional things that just can control things in our plane of existence, and there's like tiers of powers of genies, and...
Oh, wow. So nothing like Robin Williams.
Nothing like what Rose. It's scary. And then also the way he gets the princess is by like basically tormenting her.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's an interesting podcast, so let's do it. I'm going to get to the Viking stuff.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this book. It's Tom Shapley or Shipley. He's like a Tolkienologist kind of, and he's also I think a professor, like a linguist professor or something. He studied like the same kind of stuff that Tolkien did. And Tolkien had done a translation of Beowulf that was actually like really I think it was widely published, or it was considered one of the better ones done at that time, at least.
Sure.
So he kind of like focused on the same kind of stuff, and then did a lot wrote a couple of books about Tolkien, and he wrote this book about Vikings, and it's mostly about their deaths, but it kind of talks about how they were basically like the same kind of thing, like they're overblown Viking legends or whatever, and as if they were just Scandinavians, but they were pirates.
Yeah.
They weren't like some legend,
pillage, man, rape and pillage.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. It kind of like you look at them through a more realistic lens, but still like
it'd be terrifying. You're just like
absolutely
a peasant working on the coast, and you look out to sea. What are those dragon-shaped things?
It'd be like it's pirates, Scandinavian pirates. That's what they were. It's like just fascinating stuff.
I took like a weaponry class in high school. It was like some extracurricular thing. It was weird. And the guy would bring in like medieval weapons and stuff, and play like Viking movies. Was it
John Howe?
Yes, it was him. He showed up in full plate
armor.
He was drawing weird shit. I don't know what's going on.
He's one of the weirdest nerds ever.
I wish Alan Lee was there to get me through it.
To quietly whisper to you.
All right.
Anyway.
I feel like we're getting off the road.
We are so off topic. This is what happens when boss isn't around. We get off topic enough as it is when he's there. But anyway, back to Saul. She's at Mesa Verde with her...
she has a new assistant.
Yeah, a nice paralegal. Very very good one, it seems like.
And people say she's from other shows that I haven't seen.
Then I haven't seen them either. Okay. I don't know.
So who are the other like assistants we've seen?
She's from other episodes of Breaking Bad? Or just another show, totally.
Remember Ernesto?
Ernesto?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I'm trying to think of like all the like side characters, these assistants, like McGill had... Chuck had.
Oh, yes, Ernesto. Okay.
And there was another guy, Spanish guy, I forget.
Yeah, and then the secretary, when they had their double law firm there.
Oh, Francesca.
That will be in Breaking Bad as Saul's whatever secretary.
Oh, this will be interesting to see how they bring her back.
But I don't know her at all, but from another show. But she's a very good paralegal for Kim, and... they're at Mesa Verde, they're having a meeting, and then the head honcho guy comes in, and he's like, "Oh, did you see the models?" And
what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
gosh, darn it, be damn-a-damn-a-doo.
So they go into this whole room, and they have all these cool little, very detailed models, but it's basically saying, like, hey, we're going to expand, and it's all because of the great work you're doing.
Kim has a miniature fetish.
She does.
She's just like, oh, I can't take this, I got to
get
out of here.
Hold my coat, paralegal, I'm about to rip it off and... go crazy on my body.
On miniatures. One thing that was interesting when he said Nebraska, that's when Kim kind of had this moment of like, huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then she says, just out of nowhere, she says, "I want to go to the courthouse," and that's never brought up again. So I'm thinking, there's definitely something in her past, possibly in Nebraska, and knowing that she's now going to. Well, I mean, first of all, it seems like there's a lot of work.
Well, Nebraska's where Saul ends up.
Yeah.
And we know that he's in Nebraska.
That's right. You're right. Okay. So I almost have this feeling like something happened with her in Nebraska that if she starts working with Mesa Verde and they come to the Nebraska branch, maybe something from her past is going to come up and it's going to be pointing at her and it might ruin everything. And the other part
so you think? Oh, so she has a dark past.
Something like that. But
do we know if she's from here originally? I can't remember.
I can't remember. Maybe Nebraska. Who knows? Maybe that's why Jimmy said that in Breaking Bad. Probably ended up working at a Cinnabon in Nebraska. That's what he said to Walter, remember?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
second to last or the third to last episode.
When they were before they parted ways, when they were hiding together, and then they parted. Yeah. I think it's hilarious, too, is Jimmy brings a fish to the vet.
My fish is
It's the most pathetic cover.
And Joe DeRosa is the vet. And then we have this interesting little moment here where Jim right by the Salamanca guy.
Who just stares at the poor nurse or vet tech.
This was a very interesting episode for these twins. Especially the part with, like, giving blood to Nacho and...
Yeah.
You saw a side of them as like, oh, okay, we'll help them.
They're so nurturing. They have a nurturing. they have a motherly side.
It's just like I guess they see Nacho as like he's part of the family business.
Yeah.
And then when you saw this shot where he's literally giving him the Salamanca blood to Nacho, so now like Salamanca blood's running through his veins, like he's just I cannot escape.
You got 2 pints of Kramer, anybody? Yeah, he's like he fucking hates them. Well, he hates the old man. I think he's terrified of these guys. Rightly so.
Yeah.
Also, I mean,
it's terrifying. He can't.
This whole thing was disturbing. Nacho, I was like, oh my god, how can he fucking this? I felt like I was dying when I was watching these.
Wow.
This guy did such an amazing.
Have you ever been hypnotized?
Job. No.
You might be easily hypnotized.
I don't want to be hypnotized.
Yeah, especially if a TV show makes
Honestly,
you feel like
I don't think I could be hypnotized. I think if I was one-on-one, I could be hypnotized. I could not be hypnotized in front of a group of people. I'm way too self-conscious. I'm too insecure. I'd be so aware. I always feel like that's one of the things I don't like being out in public ever at any time, at any moment.
Stop looking at me!
No, I'm always looking at other people. I feel like because I watch people, I feel like they're doing the same thing to me.
See, I don't watch people, but I still don't like being out in public because I feel people are watching me. What is that?
We have a similar thing, but it's different in the one way where I do feel like I'm observing
Something
people.
Something could be going on over here. I don't
mean, like, look at this guy. What's he doing?
Thing over here.
What's this person doing?
What they're doing is none of my business.
See, I think it's a genetic thing because my grandmother and my grandmother especially, my maternal grandmother, she was always obsessed with whatever it was. We'd go to a restaurant or something, and we'd sit down, and then other people at another table would sit down after us, and then it'd be like, well, they're getting their drinks already. We were here before them. Why are they going? I'd be like, Grandma, nobody gives a shit. What's the rush? It doesn't matter. They have a different waiter. They're in somebody else's section. Our waiter may be busier than that waiter. It doesn't matter. Always obsessed with what was happening to everybody else. Like she was always looking to be gypped, though. It was always with an eye of that she was being like society or something the universe was screwing her over.
Okay.
So it's more of like I'm observing everybody else, but only because I want to I want to confirm that I'm getting fucked over.
Is that what you have?
No.
Okay.
No, not that bad anyway.
Okay. That's interesting.
No, that side of my family was definitely
I don't have that. I really
known. I mean, they were wacky for sure.
Yeah, because I noticed it in my parents too. Like my parents are oblivious at times. Like I'll just be talking to them, and it's just like, what? Like I said like 5 sentences to you.
I said you're gonna be grandparents.
Maybe it's just stupidity.
No, you're like laying some big news on them.
Huh?
The biggest news of your life. I'm getting married.
I'm pregnant.
Who are you? I'm pregnant. You should do that one time.
Hey, Dad,
I just robbed the bank. Good for you, son. That's great.
that's great. Holy, look, the wire's on
Yeah,
again.
the police are going to be here any second. I plan on going down fighting. There's going to be a gunfight, so just get ready because
Going to Mars on Saturday.
if you survive, your life is going to be destroyed.
Let's pick for the mission.
Hey, that's great. Hey, look! Oh, the Golden Girls are on again. It's a marathon.
Rose, you're stupid!
Rose,
I
Blanche.
can't believe it. I'm going to make a sexual joke on a TV show.
That's because she's a slut.
And she's 80. That
Hot.
was a great show, by the way.
They weren't that old either. They were not 80.
No, and the oldest
They were
one,
like their late 50s.
and the oldest one was the youngest one.
Yeah, Sophia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she died first. Actually, as we speak,
And we named our bank robbing team, as you remember.
That's
in
right.
Zelda Let's Play.
the
after
Golden
that.
Girls. That's right. That's right. You were B. Arthur, and we all wore masks of other people.
No, I think Boss was Bjorn.
Oh, boss was B. Arthur. Yeah, yeah. I was Rose, and I think you were Blanche then.
You were Blanche.
I was Blanche.
I was Rose.
You were Rose.
You got everything
Oh,
wrong.
I got arrested when we both tried to do this for real.
And I like how the vet says, like, hey, you need a doctor for some imaging stuff. I did the best I could. I gave you, like, an assortment of antibiotics, but I don't know what the fuck.
Did he already know Nacho?
No, he just knows.
Because he says to him, "I never want to see you again." When I walk out
he
the
says,
door.
I want no business of the drug cartel bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
I just do petty crimes, blah, blah, blah. It's true.
It's all about, man, some petty crime.
And it's true, the drug shit, it's a little too harsh. Like, okay, I'll do a little crime here.
Oh God, the cartel? Forget it. You're dead.
Okay, maybe I want the sports page from this paper, and I just slide it into the paper I'm getting. There's a little crime. Hurts
Getting-
nobody except the next guy, and he wants a sports page. But that's an Oxnard crime.
Oxnard strikes again.
Says take a penny, leave a penny at 7-Eleven. I might take 2 pennies. I might leave a nickel. Breaking the rules left and right.
Oh my God, you're a madman.
Yes. So Ira breaks into Printer Depot,
Sure.
and a small-handed lawyer apparently is in Dutch with his wife for buying her a vacuum cleaner. A horrible,
That sentence was insane.
a horrible gift idea.
I think that I'm trying to remember. My father may have done the same thing to my mom at one point.
What are the worst gifts to give a wife? Exercise bike, vacuum cleaner.
I'll tell you what. If my wife got me a vacuum cleaner, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, I like a good vacuum cleaner.
We need a good vacuum cleaner. I'm the one that cleans up around the house like that kind of stuff. So
You have rugs?
yeah, we've got some rug area rugs.
I don't like rugs.
Like in the living room and the dining room and stuff.
Get rid of them. I don't like
Well,
them.
you need something. I mean, we have hardwood floors exposed, but there's a
Just
couple
put a
of
big
runners down the
slab-
long hallway.
A big
And
slab of marble. Bam! This is my rug. Slap!
nothing better for a young children running around than
Yeah.
hard marble. This isn't a mafia household.
Block of marble. Get columns.
What are you doing on the marble model?
Stucco ceilings.
Oh yeah,
Whatever it is.
popcorn ceilings and
Yeah.
yeah.
Pillars. Put, plastic wrap on all the furniture.
Yep, and I've got a replica painting of the Mona Lisa hanging.
Yeah, have the Godfather theme playing 24/7. Have it be your ringtone.
Yeah. That was
Did
the
you feel-
worst Godfather music, trumpet, horn, whatever I've ever heard.
Godfather.
Do you like your lasagna? That line drives me insane.
For sure.
Kay has never heard of lasagna before? Is she that waspy? Can that be possible? How do you like your lasagna?
You have to remember,
When
man,
Michael asked you at the wedding in the very beginning? Ooh, how exotic!
you have to remember the internet wasn't around back
I mean, I
then,
guess
man.
it's the 40s still.
Yeah.
The internet.
Yeah, that's how I learned. And TV.
I mean, they're in New York. They're in Long Island or wherever they are, aren't they?
yeah, but the Italians didn't go in there until like 1953.
Do you like
My
your
cousin
lasagna?
was there.
Do you like your lasagna? It's very overlooked as an annoying line, and that, or is it just me? I don't know.
It is just you tend to get annoyed with bizarre lines, and I can't even remember most of the time.
You haven't watched it 10,000 times. That's your problem.
I guess not.
Watch it 10 more times.
You were talking about how intense this scene was when Ira goes into the.
Oh my god, it was very intense. Wasn't it? But it also hilarious because he's
Yes.
like, he's like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. He puts his hand on his head, and then he realizes, oh fuck, my glove, and you see the glove there, and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening. But you also knew that this guy, not the burglar, the guy, the small-handed lawyer guy, you knew that he was so oblivious that he was never going to catch him.
He's been drinking a bit heavily.
But then it was also hilarious, like, hello, are you still delivering? And he gets a whole pizza and dipping sticks or whatever. What the fuck was that?
Because...
What is wrong with New Mexico?
First of all,
do you have to request that your pizza is sliced?
No, man. Don't you get the Breaking Bad reference? When Walter White threw the pizza, and it was a perfectly round pizza, and it landed on the roof.
Oh, it wasn't sliced?
It was sliced, but in the cut, it didn't separate. So the joke for the fans was like, hey, don't they slice their pizza? And then later on, you have, when Jesse's throwing his wild parties at his house, what was his name? Beaver? What was his name? Badger?
And Skinny Pete or whatever his name
they
is.
They were talking about like, hey, how come they don't slice their pizza? Because, man, they're passing on the savings to you if they slice the pizza, this and that. So in the Breaking Bad universe, there is a place in New Mexico that makes giant pizzas that they don't slice.
That's fantastic.
And it's a reference to that show. Very similar to, remember how they said DMV early on, but in New Mexico it's called the MVD or something.
Oh, yeah, they said that. They said Motor Vehicle Division or whatever.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
I forget what the
one of
mistake
these
was.
early episodes.
But that's what Vince Gilligan and the team of writers do. They see, oh shit, we made a mistake there. How do we have this make sense? And they retroactively correct it, and then it fits them beautifully. And
that's
it's
great.
Perfect.
So really, Better Call Saul is just a way they can slowly
tell a great
correct
story
or like
correct.
or just have it make sense. All of their little.
Yeah. No, but that was a great. For people, I don't know how you watch this without ever seeing Breaking Bad, but that was just for
I forget. See, that's the thing. I haven't watched Breaking Bad in so long, and I remember. Obviously, you remember the major stuff, but little things like that's incredible.
Yeah, just put on a random episode of Breaking Bad sometimes, and before you know it, you start remembering shit.
How infuriating was it that when Jimmy sets off the car alarm and the guy goes out to check it, and the cat burglar guy runs back into the office? Well, he could have hidden somewhere else for sure. That's what I felt.
He could have,
but instead he runs back. Then
Jimmy tension comes.
Then Jimmy has it set up so that he kind of breaks into the car, but he just sets it so it's rolling away, and that was hilarious.
Don't you feel bad for that guy? His wife doesn't like him, and she's mad about the vacuum because it was too expensive. Also, you got me a vacuum, and
I do feel bad for him because
and now his car is going to have like a fender bender.
I mean, my wife and I have had some big arguments
about vacuums.
No, definitely not about vacuums. No, but I mean, whatever, like about a bunch of stuff. And then, as any married couple has had major arguments, I've never felt for an instant like, well, I guess I'm getting kicked out of the house for the night, or I'm not sleeping here tonight, or she's leaving, or something. It's insane. Like,
yeah, I mean, that would have to be pretty bad.
That's what I mean. So it would have to be one of us would have to do something absolutely awful to the other person to the point of where the marriage is over.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So this poor sap, he got his wife a high-end vacuum cleaner.
It doesn't seem like he makes a lot of.
It just doesn't seem, but it doesn't seem like it warrants this kind of treatment.
You don't know what else.
I don't know. Maybe I guess I'm lucky. I don't know.
Have you ever had an argument and then like it gets heated, but then all of a sudden you just start laughing because it's like, what the hell are we arguing about? Has that ever happened?
No.
Really? Oh, that's happened to me a few times.
No. I mean, well, no. I mean, I've had arguments, but like nothing like serious. I mean, no, not serious arguments.
No, that's what I mean.
Like, I mean, my wife and I argue all the time, but like a lot of it is like
petty little stuff,
like arguments like we might have about.
We never have an argument.
Stuff. Well, like debates.
It's not a debate. It's called discussion.
A discussion.
Otherwise, I would put STS.
Are we not? Well, I guess it's not an argument. Are we arguing about it right now?
No, I think we're discussing it. Asshole.
I think you're wrong.
Maybe I'll do that for this episode. I'll put STS Enterprises argument instead of discussion.
Ooh, it's an argument.
It's an argument. We're fighting.
No, that's not a Motorola he's using as a cell phone.
It clearly says Motorola.
It's a Nokia.
And obviously this guy owns a ranch for some reason. In the middle
There's
of
no
nowhere.
house, it's just horses.
Wait, I just know. Why does that guy...
That? Wait, where is Don Julio or whatever his name is?
I don't know. He has like a...
Or is that what this guy's name is? The guy on the gold cell phone? His, like, kind of...
Don
Julio. Eladio is the head honcho.
Yeah, that might be Don Julio.
Okay. Don Julio. So basically, the news gets to Don Julio. We'll just call him that from now on, whether it's right or not. That the Salamancas were attacked, and so something's going on
They're
here.
gonna put
This is not
decoy
good.
runs out.
Yeah. And he gets very nervous, and he says, do dummy runs. No product is across the border until this is all taken care of. And let's get, like, somebody already over here, somebody to get product from them. And then Fring is like, no. Don Eladio forbids that, and he's like, don't worry about it. I'll worry about him. Let's just do it anyway.
And this is all part of Fring's plan so that he can make his own supply.
Yeah.
And just control.
And then cut into... Right, exactly. So to your point, he goes and meets Gale right after the conversation.
Depending on all this...
But Don Julio seems to be in the middle of nowhere at some kind of ranch, like you said, but all that you see is like 3 horses... that somebody was like, hey, look, there's horses. Quick, build a circle of wood around them, and we'll call this a ranch.
Hey, what's that guy doing?
Where is
we're going to be stuck.
And I still don't
Holy
understand.
shit, make a run for it.
Maybe I got to go out to the desert where they film these things. Is it actually cold there? Because everybody is wearing long sleeves. They're wearing coats. They're wearing black. Nobody is sweating a drop.
It's super
dry.
It's super dry.
And they're wearing so many layers of clothing out in the middle of the fucking desert. I don't understand it.
It's dry. It's a dry heat.
It's very humid over here. And we're in New Jersey. This has been like the muggiest summer I think I've experienced certainly in the 2000s.
It's disgusting.
It's awful. It's been a horrible summer.
Like, I don't even have to be like moving. Just be at the wrong spot, and then for whatever reason, my metabolism goes, oh, let's crank up the heat for assholes. And I'm like just sweating, and
I mean, I'm telling you, it's been, and I'll try and go out, take my daughter for a walk or something. Let's go to the park, and it's early in the morning too, like before the sun really starts to blaze. I'm drenched.
Yeah, it's the dew. The dew from the grass is evaporating, going right up into you,
right up into my pants.
I've done studies on this, extensive studies, and it's all the dew.
It's insane.
Yeah. I was impressed how they actually made Gale look younger. I think it's the beard.
The beard, and it's definitely dyed.
Yeah.
I think it was a little too dark.
Well, he's a college guy.
Yeah, maybe. No, I guess he was he a little more salt and pepper when
yeah.
By the time Breaking Bad was there?
Yeah, this 2004-ish, I believe.
Something, I think or 2002 maybe even.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah. They do a good job of everybody. I mean, I think the guy that plays Fring, he looks exactly the same. That actor hasn't changed at all.
It is funny. Yeah.
Mike, you can see, definitely is
you ever see
getting older.
Uncle Hank in Starship Troopers? That was the first movie I remember that actor in. He was one of the military guys when they were signing up the recruits.
I never really watched that movie. I've seen bits of it.
Oh, you should. It's good. It's a good satire. And yeah, but it look that guy is like in his 30s in that role. He looks exactly the same as in Breaking Bad. Like, it's ridiculous. Like the bald head, same face, like the same wrinkles.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, but Gale is so naive. He has no idea. Like, I think if Fring was smart, he would have. No, Fring is smart. He's doing the right thing. He didn't account for Walter White fucking everything up.
No, nobody does. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He never falls into line. And he's just crazy enough to, like, not be scared, completely scared, I mean, by the fact that these people are monsters.
Remember we used to talk about how, like, Breaking Bad, the theme is, like, the person that someone kills, they take on the qualities of that person?
Yeah.
So remember when Fring, when he kills all the head honchos down in Mexico, and the reason he does that because he wants revenge, because in front of Fring, they killed his lover or quote-unquote
whatever.
Assistant,
Yeah.
But then that's what Frank starts doing. He kills that other guy right in front of Walter.
Right in front of Walter.
And then right in front of Nacho. He kills his thing. So
that's right.
It's interesting, like, how it carries on. To keep that up.
It is interesting.
All right.
But I don't think we finished the Kim thought. So Kim,
yes,
when she sees the models, she does have a PTSD kind of thing because she starts to become overwhelmed by the amount of work that now lies before her, because this guy is very overzealous, and they are they love Kim, but big expansion, yeah, huge, and she starts to kind of like have a kind of a bit of a freak out, and then starts giving more duties that she was kind of holding back from the paralegal. That starts giving her more.
And the reason why also is
but that led up to the accident. That's what caused her accident.
Yeah, she like last time she was swamped with work, she entered a micro sleep and she crashed.
Which, were we talking about that? That's like one of the most realistic People who have been through that have said that's like the most realistic depiction.
Yeah. There's something about the road, man, and I don't know why. Like when you're driving,
are you gonna go Kerouac on me now?
What do you mean? No.
Jack Kerouac.
No, there's something about
the road,
like,
man.
It's the hum, and especially if you're coming home late and it's a long 2-hour drive. Let's say you went to AC or something, you're coming home late. There's something about the straight line, and even though you're in a 2-ton vehicle filled with explosive gasoline going, 6 to 80 miles an hour, something in your brain going like, like it's ridiculous. And so,
driving that tired is as dangerous as driving drunk.
Yeah, sleep deprivation. Yeah, you get less done. You got to get good sleep.
What were we gonna say about Sweden?
Yeah, it was in some country, but they were doing something with the highways where every other light's going to have some sort of light that like wakes you up or something.
Like a blue, isn't it a blue light?
Something like that.
And then like red light helps you sleep, and then blue doesn't.
Speaking of hypnotism, there is something hypnotizing about driving when you're tired. Straight, there's no stimulation. You got the heat on. Seat's kind of comfortable. Maybe you should press like a button and like little tacks.
Lullabies are playing on the radio.
Or like just release a single bee without a stinger into the car.
Oh yeah, or a spider
without venom.
A black widow spider.
That'll keep you awake. All right, now we get to a very interesting thing that I love that they did because they set up this letter. And we were speculating, like, he's going to find in the future his gene. It's going to be this huge build-up. It's like, no, next episode, he's going to read it and not give a shit. And it's perfect.
Now, yeah, and he doesn't give a shit. And Kim gets very upset.
Right. Now, there's so many, I read so many things online. Because
the letter
so
isn't
different
dated,
theories.
too.
There's so many different ways to read this.
Yeah.
That I really,
well, now,
I don't have a conclusion until I see more.
Now, what's one of the most interesting ones that you read?
One tied to the fact that, well, the letter, he says it was obviously written during the time when Jimmy wasn't a lawyer yet. He was working in the mailroom. And then, so one person was saying, like, the reason she gets so emotional is because she was the one that pushed Jimmy to become a lawyer. And then she realizes, like, that's what separated them and drew them apart, so she feels guilty because of that. Another one is, like, she's looking at Jimmy being so nonchalant about this and just seeing, like, he's not the same Jimmy anymore, and I'm in love with him. Where's his empathy? Where's the feelings?
Yeah.
And
because he is definitely, like, very doesn't give a shit. He's eating the cereal, and he's like, let's do what you want. He can write a letter.
Other theories that I don't like is, like, that Kim wrote the letter because she read it and thought she didn't want to upset Jimmy.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and that was a weird one.
Yeah, another one is that Howard wrote the letter. I don't know why, but people were giving their reasons. I don't think that's true.
Why would Howard write the letter?
I don't know. But then
that doesn't make any sense.
People will point to the fact that Chuck was very diligent with all his paper. He didn't date it. He didn't sign his actual name. He just wrote down Chuck. And that's
true. That's strange.
I love Jimmy's like reading it so like he's reading the morning paper, eating his cereal in the morning.
You know what I couldn't stop thinking about when I was watching this scene? The milk is just sitting there on the counter, getting warm.
It's fine. It's like
that drives me fucking insane.
Milk and eggs. I have to explain this to people. Like when my mom gets eggs and my girlfriend gets eggs, I was like, we don't have to rush home with the eggs or the milk. Like this comes from a cow. This comes from a chicken.
I disagree.
If you own a farm, chickens lay eggs.
Yeah, but there, that's fine. But they've been refrigerated, so they have to stay refrigerated now.
Yeah, but exactly. But the refrigeration process makes the eggs last longer. But an egg not refrigerated, it can last like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, but it's the same thing even with beer. Once it's refrigerated, if it gets warm and then refrigerated again, it's ruined.
Right.
So you can't have it. Put the milk away.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
It could stay out for 10, 20 minutes.
It's just sitting there on the counter. Why does it need it there?
It's going to be fine.
It doesn't make any sense.
Some people
you don't need it. You pour the milk in your cereal, put it back in the fridge.
Yeah, but maybe he wants a little more milk later on.
You don't need more milk later on. You pour the amount you need then.
StS arguments. Yeah!
I mean, that was driving me nuts. I couldn't
argued
focus.
about milk for 3 minutes.
This boss is going to be so annoyed. I couldn't focus on the episode. It was driving me up the wall.
Well, then you missed my favorite shot. The last shot. Now, this is so jarring because reading the letter is jarring because you thought he was going to be drawn out.
Yeah.
And also when it cuts to credits, it's jarring.
That was jarring. I couldn't believe the episode was over.
Yeah, and it was so smart to do that because you thought this letter was supposed to be something big. It was supposed to be a big revelation.
Yeah.
And no. And this shot is awesome. It's half his face. Kim is his better half. She just closed the door.
Yeah.
Behind the door is Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I think this is where he's finally becoming Saul Goodman.
Oh, okay.
And this is like Kim's...
Because it definitely establishes
departure.
their emotional distance.
Yeah.
Because they've And they have always been kind of weird like that.
And he looks like Spock in this shot for some reason.
Oh, he does. Well, because his Saul Goodman haircut is a bad haircut too. Yeah. Oh, he kind of does look like Spock. Don't break your phone now.
I'll put that up.
He does look like Spock.
I was watching today. They were putting all the old Star Trek movies on in order.
Oh, nice. I've only ever seen the first two.
I like the first one. It's slow.
I like that James Cromwell is in so many Star Trek things as different characters.
Yeah.
He's in Search for Spock, I believe.
Wrong.
He's Zefram Cochrane.
Absolutely not.
He's like one of these mole people guys in, I think in an Enterprise episode
You're
even.
confusing this with the Star Wars movie.
Oh, the Star Wars movie. Right.
Star War.
The Cylons come.
Yeah,
I forgot
Star
about that
War.
one. Yeah.
Are you going to see the new Star War? Star Invasion, starring Keith.
Luke Mammal.
Luke Mammal. He breathes air in this one. All right, something beautiful. What does the title mean?
I don't know. I got to think about that. This is
Something
pretty.
borrowed?
There's a lot of horrific things happening. Nacho almost dying. Nacho was not beautiful at all. He was pretty much.
Iroh's not beautiful. Small Hand Lawyer was not beautiful.
It was maybe it's ironic because there was nothing very beautiful about this, about the behavior of people in this episode.
Remember in the first season or second season, each episode was like Nacho. Everything ended with an O.
Jello.
Yeah, and one of the episodes they wanted to call it Jello.
Oh, they couldn't.
And
that
they
was the
couldn't-
one that they called something else.
Alpine Shepherd Boy.
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny.
So I can't remember the other ones, but I remember the one that they wanted to name, but it wasn't the name of it.
Plinko. I only remember Nacho.
Bingo?
Bingo.
Plinko.
Sludgo. Piggo. Ditto.
Bongo.
Ooh.
Congo.
Congo. All right. Final thoughts?
We're idiots. That's my final thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, this episode, I couldn't believe that was the end of the episode. It flew by.
I thought that was a great
And
ending.
that was a jarring ending because you're so into the fact that he's reading it while chomping away. He doesn't give a fuck about the letter.
Yeah.
He's so like
And any
not a single emotion can be detected.
And you could see any other show making that like a big deal and like feeding it to the fans and like having.
Imagine if Walking Dead wrote that.
Walking Dead, even aspects of Game of Thrones, I can see them doing that.
Even in the Lord of the Rings, they would do it. Like we were watching, my wife and I were watching Lord of the Rings last night. Two Towers was on cable, and she pointed something out to me, and I never noticed it before. There are a lot of dramatic close-ups.
Yeah. Wait, how does that have to do with what I'm talking about?
No, because this would be a dramatic close-up. The reading.
It was a dramatic close-up.
No, not like how. Not like.
What are you talking about?
Not like how it would have been if it was The Walking Dead did it, or if it was like Lord of the Rings.
I meant the idea of introducing the letter and then just having it drag on and on.
The letter would have been brought out, and Jimmy would have been staring at it like.
Yeah, but it would have happened like 3 seasons from now or something.
Remember the letter?
Tonight on Better
And
Call
I like
Saul.
that it's like here.
The letter.
Here's the letter.
Will he or won't he? And then it turns out he can't read. I just fudged my way through law school.
I don't know how I did it.
Ernesto wrote all my papers.
All right. Something beautiful. Better Call Saul.
That's the end of that.
Unless you have something else to say.
I got nothing. I started talking about something completely different. But now I can't watch Lord of the Rings without noticing all the intense dramatic close-ups.
Is that a problem?
It is now.
Why?
I don't know, because now I just think about it a lot. There are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
It's almost comical.
close-ups of. Yeah, it's an epic movie.
I know, but there's too many close-ups.
I don't understand. What's wrong with a close-up?
I don't know. I got to rewatch the whole trilogy
If
now.
it's done well, what's wrong with it?
I don't like too many close-ups. I don't like the camera too close. Did you ever
understand
see?
what's
There was
happening
the movie. Michael Mann directed the movie with Johnny Depp. I think it's called Public Enemy. It's about like John Dillinger. I got everything else right except who it's about. Anyway,
Yeah, there are too many close-ups.
I was really excited for the movie. The whole movie is shot in close-up. How about a fucking medium one? Give me one medium shot. Give me a wide shot. Establish something here. It's too close.
Well, you have to. All right. I mean, if it's a good movie and they're doing
And
that,
put your milk away after you pour your bowl of cereal. I'm telling you. Don't be a monster.
a monster. Okay.
It's monstrous.
I'm Oxnard.
Oh, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I'm
I
Dexter.
don't know, but I feel like we're on different pages. So.
We are! STS arguments!
It's more like STS.
Put the milk away?
No, but yeah, okay. I'll put the milk away.
Milk away. You want warm milk? It's going to spoil like that.
It doesn't warm in 10 minutes.
First of all, I don't like milk generally.
First of all, I don't drink milk. I don't give a fuck. Do you drink milk?
I can't.
So what are we talking about?
But when I did...
I just realized I haven't drank milk in probably like 10 years.
I have had to resort to almond milk because
Almond
I can't
milk is
handle even lactate. I can't handle. Well, my daughter, I have a young child and another one on the way, and that will drink milk.
Because they're babies.
Yes, exactly.
Milk
so I
is
put
for
the milk
babies.
away immediately. I would never let them leave the milk out.
Good.
You're wasting the milk.
That's fine.
And then I realized I'm a monster. I'm yelling at my children about the milk. What's wrong with me? But I can't help it. They infuriate me so. Anyway,
All right.
where's that bottle of gin?
Very interesting
anyway.
episode of STS discussion.
This is what it's like when boss isn't here.
Yeah.
Because
Far
what happens is
superior.
when boss is here, while we would be, or mostly me, off on some kind of ridiculous tangent like that, boss would be just shaking his head. I'd be looking right at me, shaking his head, or giving me the "let's go" gesture.
Right.
That's what he does. That's his role. He's kind of like a producer.
Well, where's the money?
Oh, that's true. He's bad at his job.
So he's just not doing his job.
No, all he does is he just gets annoyed by me and then wants me to stop talking, so basically tells me to hurry up.
I got you.
That's it. Anyway.
We can keep going if you want.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. What else is there?
Well, I guess we'll play
What else do you want to argue about?
These are the most pathetic arguments. I don't even know what they are. It's just people talking.
Is this an argument? Is this what kind of conversation is this?
No, none of this is...
What's wrong with us? We're not men.
None of this.
What is happening to our lives?
Nothing.
We're in our 30s.
We are?
I am driven mad by a TV show where a character left milk out for too long. I'm telling you, it really does. In all honesty, though, that does bother me.
Destroyed for you because there are close-ups.
And it's not destroyed, but I never thought about it so much, and now it's in my head.
But when a close-up happens, doesn't your brain go, that's a close-up?
No. It doesn't. Okay. No, but I didn't think about it, but when it happens, like shot after shot after shot after shot, every shot is a close-up. And to the point where she was like, doesn't it somebody must have, like, made jokes about this in Lord of the Rings, like a riff tracks thing or something. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't recall that. It never occurred to me. I never noticed it before. And now it's in my head. She, like, rooted for me. Thanks a lot.
I don't know. Just
and then I started thinking of other scenes, and I was like, oh, yeah, there's a close-up in that scene. Like, it's very intense. Like, it's Elrond's a close-up.
Yeah,
Isildur's a close-up. This is a close-up.
character
Frodo, Sam, Pippin, Merry, Treebeard, everybody. Close-up, 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 close-up.
Saying something.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, there's a fucking wide shot. Look at this. You can see something. And then, nope, it's cut short, and there's a close-up instead. And it's
Here's the wide shot to
Gandalf.
show you what it is. How long do you need the wide shot to be? How long do you need to establish something? Like, here's the wide shot. Here's the
No, I'm not saying that every shot has to be like wide enough where it's an establishing shot, but I like medium shots. I like give me a Kubrickian kind of shot every once in a while.
It's not a Kubrick film.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's too much. Too many close-ups all of a sudden. I'm just noticing it more.
It's because it has so many characters, so you need to identify each character.
But they've already been identified. Everybody knows who fucking Frodo is. This is the third movie.
Yeah, but if he says something, I will take it. You want to see that in a medium shot? It goes from a close-up to a medium
Obviously,
shot.
where it's appropriate. But I'm just saying it's not appropriate every shot. Every other shot.
All right,
That's all I was saying.
I think there are a lot of close-ups, but I think they're warranted.
Like I said, this is just fresh off the hour that I watched of the second movie. I mean, I've seen all the movies dozens of times, but I'm saying I just watched a little bit last night after Saul, and we were watching together, and then she just happened to notice it, and then it was just stuck in my brain, like, oh yeah, there are a lot of close-ups, and it seemed almost too much, almost gratuitous.
Well, okay.
So I gotta watch the whole series now. I'll get back to you on how I feel about it.
All right.
This is how I feel right now, but after I watch them again, I'll check in with you.
Interesting.
Everybody's on the edge of their seats. Wondering.
All right. Are there too many close-ups in Lord of the Rings?
Possibly.
Cast your vote now. Hashtag too many close-ups. LOTR.
If you see Public Enemy, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is too close.
I can see it in my head. It's like burned into my head.
Public Enemy?
Oh, Public Enemy?
No, that movie is too close. I'm telling you. You would agree with me on that one.
Yeah. No, yeah, I understand, like, too close, where it's like here.
Yeah, why is anybody... Why bother about the costuming? Why bother about the sets? Everything is a fucking close... Everything is neck up.
In that movie.
In that movie. Not in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
No, and of course, there's plenty of wonderful, magical, long, wide shots, tracking shots, helicopters. I mean, there's so many things, but then it just so happened that when she mentioned it, there was a series.
What was the scene?
It was all Faramir scenes, mostly, where close-up, 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 close-up. And then even with Theoden cutting back. And then and so it was a lot of the talking scenes, not action scenes, obviously.
Right. So Peter Jackson, when someone's talking, like says,
yeah, but it was almost, after she mentioned it, it felt gratuitous.
Maybe you're not a...
So I got to rewatch.
Jackson's direction, then.
Well, I love those movies. Like I said, I've seen them. I don't even know how many times.
Maybe you learned something.
Maybe I learned that I do. You can see a trend in his direction, and it almost gets cheesier over time.
Yeah, but it was cheesy when he first started.
Yeah, but cheesy in a negative way now. It used to be like an endearing quality, like in the old bad movies, like Bad Taste and Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, those are over the top, and there's like a corniness quality.
Also, remember, it wasn't him directing everything. There were second units, third.
Oh
units,
no, of course.
Units, fifth
but
units.
but they were directing a lot of like when Arwen is on horseback. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that stuff. Like a lot of the big scenes. He was
medium
involved
shots.
with,
We're just running. She crosses the river. That's a wide shot. Cuts to her. Actually, starts with a medium.
Look, I'm not against all close-ups.
Wide shot.
I'm
Close
not
up with the Nazgul looking to the left.
Yeah. I'm not against all close-ups. I'm just saying it's just funny how she mentioned it, and then it did seem almost over the top.
I think your wife is trying
a comical amount of close-ups.
To poison you against Lord of the Rings.
So she never has to hear it or see it again?
Is she a big Harry Potter fan?
Not a big Harry Potter fan.
Is she a big, what's another, I don't know, maybe she's reading The Dark Tower. Maybe she thinks that's...
She hasn't read it yet. You know what she does like, though? Which I had to watch again, which I've seen this movie probably 3 times now. Burlesque. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Starring Cher, Christina Aguilera, Stanley Tucci.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It's awful. It was one of these movies that they made like years ago, and it sat on the shelf, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, it ended up getting released. Because Christina Aguilera was like much younger in it than when she was released. She already had like a couple of kids, so you can see like how young and different she looks. It's so bad, but that's one of her favorites. Probably.
Why don't you just point out how many close-ups are going on in the movie she likes? Just point out something that happens.
Oh, I do. I talk all the time. It doesn't bother her the way it bothers me.
Yeah, I don't understand why it bothered you that much.
It doesn't have to bother me. I just kind of noticed it more. That's what I'm saying. I got to rewatch and come back. I got to rewatch them all and come back to it now.
Have you noticed that there are a lot of elves in Lord of the Rings?
What?
Have you started noticing that? Is that gonna? Have you noticed that Gandalf kind of talks a lot? All right, I'm Oxnard.
I'm Dexter.